2. We're live.
All right, we are live.
Fucking finally.
Oh, man.
Don't move. Stay perfectly still. Okay, are you starting, Scott? What are we doing here, bud?
Voice that matters.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is All Washed Up with your hosts, CK, Big Al, and Billy. Brought to you by the only voice that matters.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about all the technical difficulties today, but welcome to All Washed Up. This is episode 4. Today we're going to be going over our top 10 tight ends, but first, boys, what you got?
Just glad this is working, man. Here we go. Let's get this done.
Billy.
All right.
You're stoic.
Yeah, I know I'm stoic.
All right.
Majestic motherfucker. So, let's do the big news with Big Al. Let's get that knocked out.
All right.
Big,
let's
big shit
just get it going. Got it. All right. So, new segment. Kind of did it last week, but
Big news with Big Al.
Don't love the soundbite. We're going to work on that one. But, yeah. All right. So, here we go. So, news. We're going to hit these highlights real quick for you guys, just in case you're missing out on the news. It's the off season. Just hit you with the highlights. So, highest scoring player in NFL history, Adam Vinatieri. He's done. Hanging up the cleats. Literally the cleats, because that's what he uses to score all those points. Julio Jones to the Titans. Crazy. I mean, we talked about it last week. Literally last week, the reports came out.
I called it, you pieces of shit. You knew I had a breakdown. I said the Titans were going to win the South. What I call? Guess what? Titans are winning the South.
Yeah, hey, man, I'm not fighting it. I like the move. Fantasy-wise, it hurts Henry and A.J. Brown. The only person that really helps on that team is Ryan Tannehill. Moving on. Rodgers is continuing his holdout with Green Bay. As expected, he could be fined $93,000 per day, I believe is the number. Don't think he cares. He's got the support of his teammates, so he's just going to continue to hold out. I think if he does come back, week 3, week 4, after the team does horrible. Cam hurt his hand in practice, so we'll see how that goes. Stidham and Hoyer got all the first team reps without
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, thank you. I hate when I do that. Without Mac Jones, so that's surprising to see. Right now, if that is any indication, he's 4th on the depth chart. Ravens offensive coordinator came out and said they're still going to run a running back by committee. It hurts everybody there on their productivity for fantasy. I didn't see anything else coming from that. Rex Burkhead is joining the Texans in their absolute stacked, horrible backfield.
Going down the freeway at 100 miles an hour.
That is the truth. We'll get to this more because I'm interested to see on what's going through Billy's head with this guy. But the Eagles are still looking for a trading partner for Zach Ertz. They've already told him that he can be traded. They can recoup all the money from him in the offseason. But apparently Billy's got him in his top 10. More news on that later with Billy. So.
And opposite Stephen A.
Corey. In Jets fashion, Corey Davis already strained his shoulder in practice, so that's great news for Zach Wilson. That's just going to be amazing. Laviska Shenault has been showing out in practice lately. for the Jaguars. Everybody's predicting a big breakout year for him, so we'll see. And then the last thing, not really NFL, but big news that came out is barring it being approved, which everyone is in agreement with it, the college football playoffs are being expanding to 12 teams. 12 teams. I've been talking about it for a long time. I know we've talked about it.
Too many.
I think
too many.
I think it's amazing.
But I think it's too many. They should go to 8.
To 8, yeah.
I agree.
Mean,
yep.
8 would be 8 would be good.
Should have been top 5 plus 3. It should have been 5 conference winners, the Power 5 conference winners plus 3 at large.
Hey, any given Sunday, man. Any given, or in this case, any given Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So, all right, well, that's
Is that
all I
all
got
the
for you
news you
this
got,
week.
Big Al? Cool. Sweet.
That's
Well, that
all the
was
news
big
I got for you
with
guys.
Big Al. All right, so like we said last week and today, so today we're doing fantasy football PPR. Want to throw that in there? We are doing PPR. Today is the top 10 fantasy football tight ends as ranked by us 3 here. We all have different lists, and we're going to go through our lists and kind of explain a little bit why we have, who we have, where we have. And I will tell you they are vastly different. So to get us started here, we got Big Al's top 10 here. Ooh, Big Al's top 10. Let's see.
Number 10.
Number
10. There we go. Yeah. All right. So
Number
10
10
on my list, I've got Tyler. I got Tyler Higbee. Gerald Everett's gone from the Rams now. They have Matt Stafford. In the past, when Matt Stafford has had a tight end that is worth anything, the targets go that way. All they have right now is Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Tyler Higbee, and then the 5'7", 150-pound Tutu Atwell, who I think is going to take one shot from somebody and unfortunately just retire from the NFL. Hate to see it, but good for him for getting drafted. Number 9.
Number 9.
I have
Number 9.
Jonnu Smith. Number 9 twice, I guess. Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith was the prime target from the New England Patriots that they went after. He wasn't used so much in the offense in Tennessee because they had Derrick Henry there. I mean, if I had Derrick Henry on my NFL team, I'm going to hand the ball off to the dude as many times as he can carry the rock. I'm not going to throw the ball that much, especially throwing it with Ryan Tannehill. I have him there just because Bill Belichick has talked about Jonnu Smith over and over and over again about the insane talent that this guy has. I think that they went after him first rather than Hunter Henry, so I think that they're gonna feed him. They're like, to me, he's the best pass catching option on that team, so they're gonna feed him the ball. Moving on to number 8, I've got Noah Fant. Noah Fant, in my opinion, is an insane talent. The kid is very good, and I believe this is his, I want to say his 3rd or 4th year in the NFL, and this is usually when tight ends break out, is their 3rd or 4th year. It takes a lot of time for tight ends to build that chemistry with their quarterback and to run the schemes of blocking and then pass catching and everything. Not to mention, I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to win that job there. And Teddy's shown that he can feed multiple targets, and he's never had like a true, really good tight end in his career besides Kyle Rudolph. So I think with the talent of Noah Fant, it's there. So the only problem there is there's a lot of mouths to feed in Denver, but we'll see how that pans out. Number 7, I have Kyle Pitts. I wanted to move Kyle Pitts up after the news of Julio Jones moving to the tight ends. Yeah, he's a rookie tight end. But I think if anybody's going to come out and do something, it is Kyle Pitts. I mean, the kid's a once-in-a-generational talent. And the fact that now their receiving options there in Atlanta are Calvin Ridley, which, if anybody doesn't know, I will be talking about this for forever. I have him in our keeper league, and I will be keeping him until like he retires from the NFL. I absolutely love Julio Jones leaving. What's that? Well, who's been? I don't know. Second place 2 years in a row, so we'll see about that. Okay, so it's Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts, and then you've got Hayden Hurst. Kyle Pitts is an absolute amazing more talent than Hayden Hurst is. Hayden Hurst obviously knows the system. He's still going to get targets. That could eat into Kyle Pitts, but once Kyle Pitts finally breaks out and gets that connection with Matt Stafford, it's going to be insane. Number 6, I've got my boy Dallas Goedert. Love this kid. I think he's an absolute beast, especially with Zach Ertz moving on from the Eagles. Goddard is the big guy there. That offense, it's a new offense and what they're going to run. So we don't really know how they're going to target within the system and what they're going to do really. But Jalen Hurts automatically last year, his number one target was Dallas Goedert. Jalen Hurts is supposed to be under center again. I don't see anything changing with that. Dallas Goedert is going to get fed. And the kid's an absolute beast. Moving on to number 5, I've got TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson, to me, is the only person in that offense that is any worth of catching the ball. They don't really have a whole lot of offensive talent outside of DeAndre Swift on that team. So TJ Hawkinson is next best on that list for me. So I think that with the addition of who's the quarterback now from the Rams? Jared Goff, thank you. Jared Goff, don't love Jared Goff there at all. But Hawkinson and his talent with his third year in the NFL, I think he's just going to absolutely tear it up. So I've got him there. And then our top, going into the top 4, I believe all of us are pretty close on our top 4. Except for Billy, which we'll get to that on someone who he doesn't even have in there. But at number 4, I've got Mark Andrews. All the praise that's been coming out about Mark Andrews this year in offseason is that he's taken a step forward with the additions of Sammy Watkins, Rondale Moore. Who did the Ravens draft as their wide receiver? Rashad Bateman. They drafted Rashad Bateman. To take the pressure off of Mark Andrews just being absolutely double covered every single play. So they've got Mark Andrews there now. They're going to spread. The defense is going to have to spread out and cover more options. And I think that's just going to open things up for Mark Andrews because, I mean, he's insanely athletic and he can go up and get the ball with the not very good targets that, or not very good accuracy that Lamar Jackson is going to give him. So. And then moving on, I feel like this is pretty standard as a top 3 for everybody ranking in the NFL. But Darren Waller, there's apparently Billy. We'll hear the opinion from Billy, but Darren Waller is an absolute monster. I mean, year in and year out. Last year, Darren Waller over the full season of 16 games, he scored, let's see, what's that, 9? You said 9 touchdowns?
It's on the
screen. 9 I know I'm looking at it. I was looking at something else. No, I'm saying his fantasy points are overall for PPR. But his fantasy points, he scored 278.6 fantasy points last year in PPR. There's nothing else that changed in that system there. They still have Derek Carr throwing the ball. Derek Carr absolutely loves Darren Waller. They've got the young. He is, but he was hot as garbage. If you're going to say he's hot as garbage, he was hot as garbage last year and the year before. And Darren Waller has consistently been a top 3, top 5 tight end in the NFL. So for nothing to change, if somebody does what?
Like, oh, Derek Carr is going to dump it off to Darren Waller.
But that's what it's been for the past 3 years. Is he's all his highest target in that offense is Darren Waller, and nobody's been able to shut him down. Like, I mean, to me, like the stats speak for themselves. Like,
how much Darren Waller does not break 1,000 yards this year?
he doesn't. I wouldn't
I'll take that
go
one all day.
I wouldn't go that he's not going to break 1,000 yards, because 1,000 yards for a tight end is actually quite a bit. Like, you have 3 tight ends a year that are going to be close to 1,000 yards, and that's Kittle, Waller, and Travis Kelce. So I wouldn't go 1,000 yards, but I would take. I mean, you don't even have him in your top 10. Like, to not have Darren Waller in your top 10 is absolutely crazy to me. I will take that he'll finish
Ridiculous.
Unless there's an injury. Darren Waller finishes top 5
All right,
easily.
Darren Waller, top
Agreed.
5.
Easily.
Put money on it. How much you willing to put down? All right.
Well, $20.
I'll
$20.
take-
Darren Waller finishes.
I'll take 20.
Barring
I'll take
injury,
20 on that
okay?
one, too.
Barring injury.
If Darren Waller gets injured, because that's the nature of the game, Darren Waller finished 17 games.
I'll still take that
Okay.
bet. I'll take a $20.
Okay.
I'll take a $20 bet there.
You can't project injuries though. So if we're gonna do that, I mean that throws it out, because you could say like, oh yeah, Christian McCaffrey, number 1 running back in the NFL, but barring injury, like that's every single player. You are so negative. I don't get it.
Ridiculous.
Okay, we'll keep it moving.
And the Raiders are a garbage ass team.
Okay, so yeah, they're okay, but okay. So last year he scored 278 points, right, in PPR. 2019, Darren Waller scored 221 points in PPR, and they were absolute garbage then. 2018. Let's see what Darren Waller scored in 2018.
Barring injury, he should be a top. What you're saying is he should be a top 5 tight end. So my $20 bet that he does not finish
Yeah,
100%.
barring injury.
should be good, even if he gets injured. If he gets injured in the first 8 games, bet is no.
You're so
If
ridiculous.
he gets injured outside the first 8 games, bet is on. I'll give you that.
Okay,
Okay,
deal.
I'll take that.
$20 on that.
Yeah, I will still take that. I will still take that. I hope anyone who's listening in messages Billy and says they'll take that too.
Darren Waller's fucking garbage.
Okay, so we'll keep moving on with this because I want to hear the rest of your guys' tight ends too, and we're gonna keep this rolling for you guys. So we got shorter episodes, so we can get more information to you guys. So number 2, so for me personally, like I said, my top 3 are essentially interchangeable. I think it all depends on, like I said, with injury with these guys, because this guy right here is the most oft-injured player ever, but when he's on the field, he's an absolute monster. And I especially think that if Trey Lance gets out there, I think that Trey Lance is just going to light it up, being able to open up the field with his running ability, and then be able to throw the ball to George Kittle. I mean, year in and year out, the guy is just absolutely unstoppable. And then my number 1, because it's plain and simple, he's been number 1 for so long now, because
Tim
he's playing with
Tebow.
Travis Kelce. Tim Tebow, baby. Here we go. For our listeners out there, I still don't think that Tim Tebow makes the 53-man roster, but that's for another discussion at another time. But yeah, it's Travis Kelce. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes. He's your number 1 tight end. For his ADP, though, I'm not very big on Travis Kelce's ADP. A lot of people have him, which ADP, average draft position. He's going first round. To me, I've never been a big fan of taking tight ends in the first round. But when you got a guy who scores 312 fantasy points in PPR, I mean, if he can continue that, they lost Sammy Watkins. They still got Mecole Hardman, Byron Pringle, and obviously Tyreek Hill. I mean, more targets could come his way without Sammy Watkins being there. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's my tight end, my top 10 tight ends.
I don't think that so I'm not going to disagree with some of those. Maybe maybe the way that we have them right, or you kind of have them ranked, but we'll get into that because mine are. I think you and I were pretty close on who we had, just not necessarily where we have them, and a lot of mine is actually in that top 5. But I'll get into that when it's my turn. Otherwise, I don't think that you're far off, man. You're like I said, yours and I's kind of matched up pretty good. Now, the next person. Old Billy. Here's Billy's top 10 because, in my opinion, it's one of the worst top 10s I've ever seen.
We should call this Wild Bill's top 10 because I'm get ready for it, folks. We got a wild one coming up.
It is reach after reach after reach. But hey, Billy, how you feeling? You ready to do this?
Want to go? Who's got the best top 10 PPR at the end of the season? We'll put $50 on it. We'll come back to this after the season's over. And I'll collect you motherfuckers' money, and then I'll rub it in your face.
Okay, I will absolutely 100% take that bet as well. I'll take $50.
I will. I will
who
too.
has the better top 10?
I will too.
100%.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, Billy, you
take
ready?
that right
Here we
now.
go. Billy, number 10.
Why would you not put one of the most dangerous offensive back that you could see in 2021, tight end, who is the most underlooked guy, not in your top 10? He's got OBJ, he's got Kareem Hunt, and he's got Jarvis Landry, he's got Baker Mayfield coming off a career year. He is going to have a absolute phenomenal 2021. And if you guys don't believe that, bet. Just watch. He'll be a top 5. He'll be better than Joe
I think
by the end of the year. Watch that.
I just want to interject. Real quick because of what you just said. I know because I know we're going to get to Decker's top 10 and I don't want to give away spoilers or anything. Decker's also got Austin Hooper in his top 10. I think you just said it right there. Look at his stats from last year with all of those weapons in a run-first offense in Cleveland. What changed in the offense that's gonna make him a top 10? That's my point to that. So
Number 9.
It's just the way it's going to be on for the Rams. He's going to be there. He's going to be the dump off option. So as far as receptions, I predict at least 60 receptions for this year. Touchdowns, I don't see.
I can see that.
5 to
Yep.
6, about the same. Yards, about the 5 the same. But touches, I see the touches going up, coming off with Matt Stafford being the quarterback there now. He's a lot better of a quarterback than Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff would take that sack. Matt Stafford will dump it off. I could see those going up by at least a half to 3/4. I mean, if it's a great year, he touches 80. He doubles it. I'm saying that's what I'm saying there. So
I like it.
I mean, just on that team, I don't think it's going to be a breakout year yards and touchdown wise, but as far as receptions, I'm seeing at least a half to 100% increase on the receptions at that point, just on the fact on who they have as quarterback. All right, let's number 8.
Moving on, right? Okay. Number 8.
Jared motherfucking Cook. I don't know why neither of you.
What team does he play for, Billy? No, he doesn't, bud. No, he doesn't. I think if you knew what team he played for, I think you could make an argument.
Everything I went through.
Because that team doesn't have a tight end anymore.
Now I may have been shit faced.
He
Oh well then. Fuck.
he plays for the Chargers now. No, Hunter Henry. See, Hunter Henry's not even on the. He's not even on the Chargers either.
As far as
And you got Hunter Henry in your top 10.
Justin Hebert, Jared Cook. See, I had him out on the Saints when I did this. As far as the Saints coming, I feel like there's going to be a lot of dump-off passes coming from Taysom Hill. So whoever the Saints have as tight end, I'll put in this position at number 8. Whoever the Saints have playing tight end,
Troutman.
I got
I'll put
it.
in at number 8.
Adam Troutman. I don't even think Taysom's a quarterback. I think Jameis wins that all day. But I think Jameis fuels a top 10 tight end. I don't know about that. You gonna steal them crab legs first?
I think that's James' spot.
Yep.
All right. Well, since that one is null and void, let's go to number 7 there, Billy.
Oh, what team does Hunter Henry play for, Billy? He is the number 2. He's the number 2 on that team too.
Yeah.
He plays for the Patriots.
Behind Jonnu Smith.
Behind Jonnu Smith.
Football passes in New England, regardless, and I think Hunter Henry's going to stand out above Jonnu Smith in that, just because the fact.
Okay.
Hey man, Aaron. Hey, they used to have Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. It's not a reach. I'll give you
With
that.
Tom Brady. With Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They've got Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
And said one of them made me dead.
Oh God.
So, all right, yeah, Hunter Henry.
Oh my goodness.
I bet he ends up
All right.
Well-
in front of Jonnu Smith just from the fact that I think he'll pick up the system faster than Jonnu Smith will. I think it'll be close, but I put Hunter Henry above
Okay.
Jonnu Smith in that.
Got it.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
My boy,
Number 6.
Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, great tight end, terrible ass system. Playing in Baltimore, playing behind with Lamar Jackson as his quarterback. You want me to play quarterback? I bet you I can boost his numbers better than the 58 receptions and 7 touchdowns. Because
Get out of here. Oh man.
trying to take off down the field like
Oh,
Lamar
God.
Jackson does. That's the kind of that's.
I think Billy only thinks tight ends get dump off passes.
I guess.
The problem with that is Lamar Jackson is so prone to running rather than looking for that dump off pass when it's right there in front of his face. That Mark Andrews, that's what hinders him. That's why you see that only that's 50 receptions and 701 yards. You're not.
Well, it's because he was hurt. He was hurt a lot last year, and that was the only receiving option. Like, so they just force fed him the ball.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that he played the full game though. It's just how many games he appeared in. Like, because there was a lot of the time that he was
Yeah.
nursing injuries, so he didn't get. He wasn't 100%.
It's going to be that.
Yeah.
If you're playing PPR, I'm looking at tight ends that are taking the dump off. Because I don't care if they're getting 300 yards a game or if they're getting 50 yards a game. If they're getting 15 receptions out of dump off passes, fuck it, I don't care. Yeah. Which is why we're going to move on to my number 5 pick, and you'll see why. Eric.
Yeah, I mean, homer pick.
My pick.
Oh man. Oh man.
One in Pittsburgh. Now you got Najee Harris carrying the rock. You got Chase Claypool. You got Juju, who I think is still fucking garbage. And I think you're honestly going to see a lot of dump offs and short goal line passes to Eric Ebron. I go over under 8. Yep. Brick Hands is going to end up
Old
with
Brick
8
Hands
touchdowns
himself.
this year. And 800 yards. What do you have last year for 5?
I think
That's a hot take. There.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's going to be in blocking more often than not. Ain't nobody going to be able to block Roethlisberger, and then with all those options there in Pittsburgh, I mean, half the time they're going to hand the ball off to Najee and let Najee eat, and then you got Claypool, Juju, and Deontay, and then I believe James Washington's still there. I don't know, it's a lot of mouths to feed, and I think Roethlisberger's getting to the end of his career. Like I think he's on borrowed time right now.
He's gonna play this year, and if they don't do anything, he's done. Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested about this next one though. I really love to hear this next one.
Zach Ertz.
Billy's number 4 here.
Doesn't matter where he's playing. He's going to touch the rock just as much as any of my top 3. Doesn't matter. Because everybody knows it. Does not matter.
No matter where he's playing?
Raiders, fuck him. He ain't going to be in my top 4. Top 5. Because that's a garbage ass team. But if he goes anywhere with a decent quarterback, Zach Ertz is a top 5 tight end just on skill alone, and everybody knows it. Every team knows it. On skill, you're looking at Zach Ertz is up there with Travis Kelce.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
I ranked him at number 4 just because.
Where you have him ranked, I would though. Yeah.
If
Right.
he moves on, I could put him in my top 3. I could see him going to somewhere like Jacksonville and being a dump-off option for
Interesting.
T. Lawrence himself. Him in the hand, you got Zach Ertz on one hand, you got the hand of God with the other, and Tim Tebow, and like you wouldn't lose the game.
So
like Jacksonville goes 17-0 this next year.
Oh my god!
If Zach Ertz goes to Jacksonville, Tim Tebow definitely doesn't make the roster. But from what I've heard, oh my goodness! From what I've heard though, is that he's got a lot of interest in the Cardinals. Cardinals really don't have a good top 10 or a good tight end, and that would just be another weapon for Kyler to throw to. But then you got, I still don't think he's a top 10 tight end in that system with the mouths that have to be fed there. So,
all right, let's move up number 3. I don't know why none of you
yeah.
have this giant party motherfucker his number in this top 10.
Number
Gronk.
3.
Why are you not going to put Gronk?
Oh my god!
Why? I don't even know why.
He's old.
He's old, man, and it's Tom Brady throwing the ball.
Majority of the other guys are in your top 10.
Yeah.
Still have some of the best hands.
Okay. Okay. So he finished last year.
That's why he is the number 1 leading tight end of all time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. But when we're ranking off of PPR, there I don't know. To me, there's players that are going to score higher points than Gronkowski. I don't know, like Darren Waller, who finished the year at number 2, who outscored him 278 to 149. So, Gronk finished with 149 PPR points. So, I get it. I'm not going to disagree with you that Gronk's the greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah.
But
I can't do that to them.
I don't know. Top 3 though?
Not in an offense with Mike. I said not in an offense with that many weapons.
You guys didn't even put him top 10.
Yeah, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Ron.
I don't know how you did not touch him.
Because
Put him lower, but did not touch Gronk in the top 10. If he's still
You could you could argue that he could be like 10. I would say maybe if I like did put him in maybe 8 or 9 range, but to me like three's absolutely insane. Like this is where I think we have a disconnect of. I mean, you have Gronk in your top 3, but you don't have Darren Waller, who has finished top 5 the past 2 years in your top 10 at all. You've never even heard of Darren Waller. Get out of here. All right, let's keep it moving, because I think we already know who the top 2 are.
Big whoop. Yeah, look at those stats. David played. Did you put me in there at 32? I could play
Big whoop.
at this point, but physicality wise,
Can you walk down the stairs at this point? Like,
after like 9 games, but I think, come on, like if George is healthy, I put him above Kelsey just on straight talent alone. But the fact that he can't stay healthy is why I have him at number 2, and then you have Travis as number 1, and with as long as him and Mahomes are still there, he's still going to end up with stupid, 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. I still think the drafting them first round is out fucking rated.
Yeah.
In a PPR league, like he should be a high second round pick. But as far as tight ends go, obvious number 1 choice, bar none. So, all right, Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, totally agree.
I don't know, guys. I mean, yeah, like, so when I was going through this, I looked and this is definitely, mine's kind of a little bit of a mix. Definitely don't have Gronk. I don't have really I've got like 3 people that Billy does. But my number 10, first off, and I will agree with Billy on that one, I do have Austin Hooper. The number 10 slot to me is kind of hard. You're really good. There's about 3 or 4 different guys that could really go here. But I took Austin Hooper just based on the fact that this is the second year that Baker and the Browns are going to be running that offense. So I don't think, as much as I do think they lean on the run, I don't think it will be as predominant as it had been last year. Obviously, you have Nick Chubb and you have Kareem Hunt, and you want to run the ball. I get that. But you're getting a healthy Odell back. Jarvis Landry, you got Rashard Higgins and DPJ and all these guys back too. I actually think really Hooper for me, it necessarily isn't about the touches here, even in a PPR. I think you're going to see a lot more red zone targets. I think that they're going to be able to get the ball down towards the end zone, and you're going to see a lot more red zone targets between him and Njoku. Just because, like I said, they just have so many weapons, and he's just a big guy that you can throw the ball to in the end zone. And that's my thing, because I will agree with you, Alan. I think you mentioned it. Like, go ahead. You there?
Oh, you guys. Yeah, I'm here. You guys. Yeah, it keeps glitching in and out. I just want to clear up though. For anybody listening in, tight ends don't just get dump passes and like quick little goal line looks. Like a lot of the new tight ends that play the game, they run down the field, they catch long passes. Travis Kelce's lining up in the slot now. Like that's most of the time where they have Travis Kelce. They've thrown him to the outside too. These new tight ends that are coming out are essentially just big wide receivers. Like they're bigger versions of wide receivers. They line up on the outside. They're catching fades. So. Not just dump passes, I think.
No, I agree, and that kind of goes in. That kind of goes into my number 9. I actually kind of took this from Alan because Alan wanted to throw Tyler Higbee in there instead of Irv Smith, and that's kind of what I have. I just think that he'll get fed a lot. I think he has a better year, obviously, than he did last year. You're going to see more red zone targets with him. Not much else. I'm not going to kind of expand upon that as much as, like I said, Alan already kind of covered all that. My number 8, same thing. I think Alan had him at 7. I have him at 8, Kyle Pitts. At Florida, obviously, we know that he was a beast, and that was only in 8 games. So I think at that offense without Julio Jones, like Alan said, and him essentially being just, I mean, he's just another big guy. Yes, you can call him a tight end, but he's also a receiver, and he's going to kind of fill that void that Julio had. I think he's just going to get fed a lot. I see, he's a big guy that can get a lot of red zone targets as well, especially in an offense that, let's just say it, really ever since they lost in the Super Bowl, their run game's been garbage. They lost Kyle Shanahan, and their run game's been trash. So I think that he is going to be a monster, and I would reckon to say that might even put him higher than 8. What? Say again, Billy.
I would.
No, I absolutely wouldn't.
Well, I wouldn't say garbage. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd say garbage. I mean, you got 68 targets that you're missing from Julio Jones, so those obviously have to go somewhere, and that's quite a few targets,
Right.
especially in that system.
Right. Moving on to my number 7. I also have Noah Fant. I actually drafted him last year in one of the later rounds. I was actually really excited about it. Of course, didn't start off great. He didn't score a lot of touchdowns and everything, and I believe he did get hurt at one point, which is why I dropped him. And then, of course, he came back and actually had an okay year. In an offense that's much improved, with Teddy Bridgewater there, and it's still out there that you could end up getting somebody else like an Aaron Rodgers. I think that Noah Fant has a really, really good year. If you're looking to just go wide receiver and running back heavy early in the draft, and you want to pick somebody up that I think probably will, I really honestly can see going maybe like 10th, 11th round. I think people are going to kind of forget about him. I think that's kind of the guy that you need to go after, that will at least be a solid option for you and hopefully stay healthy. Number 6, I've got Mike Gesicki, and I think this is I actually kind of confused with how nobody else had him. Maybe he was just out of people's range. I
don't think Tua is the guy. I don't think Tua is the guy. They picked up Will Fuller. They drafted Devonta Smith. Or no, not Devonta Smith. I'm sorry. Jalen Waddle. They've got Jalen Waddle in there now too. So with Devontae Parker and Preston Williams and everybody else that's on that team, I don't think Tua is the guy, and I don't think he has the skills to spread the ball around enough to make Gesicki a top 10 tight end. I could totally see it happening, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to put him up too. I didn't want to put him up too high. I think that, I don't necessarily think that Tua is the guy, but this is where I'm actually gonna, I guess, go with Billy on the whole dump off thing. Is that Tua can throw the ball, but I think that Gesicki's going to be a really good check down option, and he's another red zone target. I think that he has a year very similar to the year last year, 50 receptions, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. If you're looking for somebody that's going to be able to stay healthy, play some games, get you points, and worry about, you want to, like, once again, kind of like Noah Fant, get kind of later in the draft, I think that's the guy that you got to go to. He's also maybe somebody else that you can keep on your bench for a while, wait for a bye week. But I think that he's going to have a better year than that, just to be a bench quarter or bench tight end.
I like it. I think you give a pretty good argument. I mean, he finished as the number 7 tight end last year, so he automatically finished ahead of Gronkowski. So having him at number 7, that's a good spot, or number 6.
So, number 5, Mike said my top 5 are a little bit different. I have Mark Andrews here, and though I agree, I don't think that Rashad Bateman will take that many targets away from Mark Andrews. I do see just a small decline from what we're used to seeing. Like, I know, Glasper had Mark Andrews last year, and every time it just seemed like every time I played him, Mark Andrews decided to go off, and I think that's to me also the big thing here is you got to look at is the conference the division that they play in. They had to play Pittsburgh twice a year, which, obviously Pittsburgh had a good defense. But then besides that, you got Cincinnati twice and you got Cleveland twice. And obviously they didn't have great defenses. In fact, the Cincinnati-Cleveland game was 55-54 or something stupid. But you have a much improved defense in Cleveland. I think you'll see a better defense in Cincinnati. So I think people know Mark Andrews. People know about him. I think that you might just see, it's not going to be a terrible decline, but I think that you will see. I think he stays right around the touchdown thing. I think that he gets a lot of targets in the red zone. But I can see the receptions and maybe the yards staying right about where he is, and that's why I've got him at number 5. My top 4 here.
Yeah.
So I'm, regardless of who's at quarterback, I love TJ Hawkinson. I think that he's already proven himself, and that was with Stafford at quarterback. In an offense, Alan, you kind of already alluded to it, but in an offense that doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons, this dude's going to get fed. I mean, fed. And we're looking at with Stafford, and I would say, there's at least a couple weapons there. You've got a dude who played all 16 games. He had 67 receptions for 723 yards and 6 touchdowns. You have to think with the weapons leaving, and Jared Goff not being this guy who's ever really he had Cooper Kupp and he had other dude, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he had targets to throw to.
Yeah.
So your Gerald Everett's. Yeah, Robert Woods. Thank you. Your Gerald Everett and whoever else, they weren't going to get the looks because he had weapons. Well, Jared Goff don't have those weapons anymore. So I think T.J. Hawkinson gets fed, and I think that he has a great year as long as he stays healthy, which obviously he can. Played 16 games last year. We're good to go. Going down to number 3. So I have the same top 3, y'all, not in the same order.
Hey, real quick, Billy, you stepping out?
Having Travis Kelce number 3 is the absolute most garbage pick I've ever seen in the hands down of tight end picks. And the fact that you don't have Gronk in your top 10, both of y'all, is an atrocity in and of itself. I will leave y'all with both of that, but I will text you guys later, and both your picks are trash. I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay.
Bye.
Cool, dude. Love you too, bud.
All right, later, buddy. See ya.
So anyways, getting back to this, I've got Kelce at 3, and I think we've already said it, but you can kind of, the top 3 are interchangeable to me. I kind of only did this just because, once again, Kelce's had monster years back to back. He's just that good, but you got to figure at some point, people are going to start double covering him. You're losing Sammy Watkins, so obviously not that Sammy Watkins was on the field all the time. But I don't know, I just felt like kind of putting him at number 3 instead of, maybe a top 2 only. And it's not necessarily anything Kelce's doing. It's more because of these two guys. So I love Darren Waller because Darren Waller, to me, I had him on my fantasy team. The dude's just an absolute monster. I don't think much changes from last year. They did add Kenyon Drake to the offense. Who is, a pass-catching guy.
I don't think he really does anything, though.
When he's... I don't think that he does a lot, but I think that when he's on the field, he draws enough attention to be able to open up Waller even more. There's games where Darren Waller didn't do much because guys played him well, and he still was able to go out there and, get 107, receptions for 1,100 yards. And like I said, there's games where he would have, I remember I would lose 2 or 3 weeks that, Waller didn't do anything for me, but he still had 9 touchdowns. That's a big thing. 9 touchdowns. He's a huge red zone target. They loved him in the red zone. In fact, he was one of the most targeted people in the red zone on the Raiders, which is why I have him at number 2, based solely on that. And then number 1,
I like it.
Number 1, George Kittle. I think that he's healthy. I think he stays healthy. I agree with you. I think Trey Lance is going to, he's going to use him as an option. He's going to feed him. I think he has a year very reminiscent of, was it 2019, the year that they went to the Super Bowl. I think he has a year. I didn't pull up the numbers, but I think he'll have a very reminiscent to that. But once again, like I said, those top three to me, I think are interchangeable. Either one of them, if you're looking draft wise, I think that all three of them are gone before the end of the second round. That's why I think that you see that That's why I think that you see that ADP so high for like Kelsey, because essentially, and I think I said it last week, there's like four guys, 3 to 4 guys that are that good that you want to get them early, because really after that, I mean, it's really like you go like this, and then there's this big hill with these 4 guys, and there's like quite a bit of a drop off. And if you're looking for guys that are going to continuously week in and week out get your points and everything else, those 3 guys are what you want. That's why they're going so high, because there's not a lot of wealth there when it comes to tight ends. But yeah, man, that's what I got. We'll see. I love taking these bets from Billy because I already know that I'm going to win money, considering half his people are number 2 tight ends on. So.
Or the wrong team that he doesn't even think they're on. So
yeah, that doesn't help. But we appreciate you guys for whoever did sit in and listen and everything. I'll be getting this up on other forms of media tomorrow. You can catch us on Spotify at All Washed Up, and we still got our Twitter, Instagram, All Washed Up 21. Don't be afraid to.
We'll start getting more information out to everybody too. So.
Yeah, we also have an email, allwashedUp21@gmail.com. If you guys ever have any, obviously we got our next few episodes taken care of, but if you guys ever have any ideas for us that we can throw into an episode, don't be afraid to hit us up and let us know what you think. With that being said, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be going into wide receivers next. So top 10 wide receivers. Hopefully we'll have all 3 of us. If not, we can always find somebody else to throw in as a third person, or it might just be me and Big Al. But I appreciate y'all listening. Hopefully everybody enjoys their weekend. Stay cool because it's starting to get hot out there. Alan, enjoy your date night tonight. I'm going to go
we'll do it
inside and take care of my kids. So I don't know what's going on.
There you go, man.
Right now. Something happened. But all right. Well, anyways, thanks you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. CK out, man.
All right. Catch you guys later.